You said other cultures' conceptions of the roles and identities of man and women are spiritual and not biological, but to many people, the spiritual is more important and informs all else. Even within the Western context, which you didn't mention, androgyny was a thing, and they had this idea for very important reasons. Like you said, everyone's in a state of becoming, and this isn't superficial. You know, Dionysus wasn't just some dude dressing up as some chick. It puts into perspective our own ways of being. So is this not important? Is the spiritual not important? Ultimately, my question is, to what extent would one's thoughts and feelings and a society's conception of this make the word gender meaningful?
It's a good question. Yeah, the spiritual is important. Yeah, absolutely. But it's important, first of all, to establish that that is what we're talking about, because there's a category error here. Usually when this claim is made by the left, they are portraying it as though these are these other cultures. This is their conception of biological reality.
So moving beyond that, would that matter? Because you only talk about the biological.
Sure. Well, so what are you saying? That you think spiritually it's possible for a man to have sort of the soul of a woman?
I mean, in some sense. I mean, you can just question it. I mean, it's not just a pure binary.
But how would that happen? How would a man end up with the soul of a woman?
Well, I mean, there's different spiritual conceptions of it. Like I said, within the Western context, the Greeks had the idea of this archetype of eternal becoming, right? Like you yourself aren't. There's not this essentialist perspective of a man in a man's body or whatever. Like you don't actually like know who you are, so you're kind of in this indefinite state of flux until you kind of figure it out. And to many people, this is important. It takes time. Like you're not just a man, maybe. This is just
right. There's a lot more that could be said about you than just that you're a man. But that's one of the baseline facts about you. And if there are no baseline facts about you at all, then
like what? Like just purely biological?
Fundamental, immutable facts about you. If there are none of those, then there's no you, and there's no you to talk about. So you can't do anything. You can't choose a gender, for example, if you don't first exist. But if I can't say anything about you, if there's nothing about you that's objectively true, then you don't exist. So
Does that not matter? Like I said, it's an indefinite state of flux.
Well, I don't
like
I don't think that our
out. Like
I don't think
you're
that our
not one or the other.
Right. I don't think that the fundamental immutable facts about us, about our identities, are in a state of flux. I don't think that there's any reason to think that or say that. I think that things like your personality, your perspective of the world, there are many things about you that basically have to do with your personality that can change and be fluid. But those immutable facts are still there. Now, if we want to, I am okay with if we just move this whole conversation over to the realm of the spiritual, then I would consider that progress. But unfortunately, that's not what the left is doing. And I would still say, even if we're in the realm of the spiritual, it just doesn't make any sense, even on spiritual grounds. In fact, especially on spiritual grounds, to say that a man could have a woman's soul. I mean, how does that even happen? It's like now you are proposing that God has made some sort of mistake or played some sort of practical joke where he's put a female soul into a male body. And I would also say that because there's a unity of body and soul, just the idea of a man having a woman's soul is just a contradiction in terms. It's like saying that a square has the essence of a circle. It just doesn't make any sense. The definition of a soul is the soul that a man possesses, I would say. The definition of a male soul is that soul which is possessed by a man. I don't know how else to define it. So,
I feel like we've hit an impasse. That's totally fair.
Yeah, I feel this has got to turn into kind of a trippy conversation, but I appreciate it. That's cool.